Today is going to be part one of a series we're going to do on a dirt cheap drag car. We picked this up. Actually, I traded for it for basically what cost me $150. Yeah, I get it. You're thinking it's a turd box station wagon. Oh, and it is indeed a turd box extraordinaire. This thing is a raging pile of shit. And, well, we're going to see if we can make it into the 11s for under $2,000. You can see it's a Roadmaster, it's a Buick. People who know these cars are going to know it's going to have an LT1 in it. It's got 260 horsepower from the factory. This has 280 or 220,000 miles on it. I bought it from a guy who just put a trans in it when in fact it needed a rear end. He blew the rear end up but didn't know it. I already fixed the rear end, but we're going to actually change the gears again today. But just give you a little sneak peek. We're going to have Noah over here start it up. See how beautiful that starts? It's, for being high mileage, it starts right up. It's already got an exhaust system on it. Sounds really good. But overall, we'll show you the other side too, I suppose. I think I got a great deal on, well, not really. I mean, the thing is just good for nothing. If the front windows fall down, it, here you can see that some previous person who owned it thought it was a race car already and put a giant tack in there, even though it's got an automatic. And I'm sure I'm going to blow this thing up. So I'm sure you're asking, how are we going to get in the 11s? Well, I bought some parts already for the car, knowing some things it needed. We got a crank sensor here, because the crank sensor leaks into the pigtail. I bought a new pigtail, so we can replace that. We got a belt. I ordered a tensioner too, but it didn't come, it wasn't the right one. Power steering hose, I kind of debated. I was like, well, am I gonna delete the power steering, being it's just a drag car, it's just meant to go A to B. But I want to be able to drive it around town and roast people on the street too. So power steering, because it's a big car, I'm gonna need it so it's nice to drive. Well, here's a little hint on how we're gonna get in the 11s. If any of you know anything about spark plugs, you can see these are nitrous special spark plugs. We're going to go into a colder range here, and it's got a special tip on it. You can see how short that ground strap. Focus, you fuck! God damn! There it goes. So you can see how short that ground strap is, and how the ceramic doesn't protrude out. Hopefully that keeps them. I bought a bunch in case I melt the spark plugs when I put a giant shot on this. But there's the, I don't know if that's going to work. There's the nitrous bottle. Here's the whole nitrous kit. We bought the bottle heater. We bought the blowdown kit, the blowdown tube, so that we can be NHRA legal for the track. But today we're putting in 373 gears, which, where are the gears, Noah?
Over there.
Got the differential torn apart here. You can see this is the old pinion. You can see how fucked the gears are. It's got an ABS ring on it. The one I got out of the truck doesn't have an ABS ring, but I'm gonna try to pull it off and put it on this one. It's a little different design, but they're both 10 bolts. Both 30 spline 10 bolt axles. Here's the ring gear on the differential that came out, and I did fix this differential enough to drive. What had happened was it sheared the bearing off, and you can see here, you can see all the welding I did, or maybe not. Oh yeah, you can. So it sheared the bearing off of the carrier side, and you can see on the inside I welded it, and I just welded the bearing right onto the side of the carrier and re-shimmed it up and put it back in there, but all the damage had already been done to the gears. There was no saving it, and not that I wanted to run 273s anyways. 273s are way way too high gears for a drag car. So here's the 373s. You can see this differential looks like it has a little bit more beef on it. I don't know about that right there, where the other differential failed. I don't know. It doesn't look that much meatier, but we'll see. Next step is try to change this gear over to there, and or the tone ring for the ABS, and we'll see. Just to show you the setup of the tone for pulling the tone ring here, just using a shitty power built 2 or 3 jaw puller, and I got some tension on it and it's sliding right off. So you can see differential looks a little different, or the gear looks a little different, but I'm gonna keep pulling it off and see if it'll hammer. It'll hammer on the other side. Okay, I got the tone ring for the ABS switched over. You can see it's off of this one onto this one. I just used this square stock of steel and 5-pound sledge, and I do have a press over in the corner, but you can see how buried it is. I don't want to fuck with that, so unless I have to pull these bearings off, unless I have to pull the bearing off to change the shim pack for pinion depth, I'm not gonna get to the press. I'm just gonna try to do it up. Chevy luckily uses these very nice, really big shims. I have it written down. I'm gonna just try to reinstall it with the shims that were in the differential that came out of the truck, and we'll see how easy it goes. I'll show you my pattern when it gets all in. Having a little problem. The ring gear was too tight against the pinion, so we needed to move the ring gear over slightly. I did have a couple of extra of these, so I can move them around a little bit, but this one's a little too thick. I had a thicker one for the other side, but now because we put a thicker one on the other side to move it over, we need a thinner one on this side. So I'm going to use my handy dandy belt sander here. This is some definitely some white trash engineering here, and we're going to sand it down, and then we're going to measure it. We're looking for about 215 thousandths of an inch, and right now it's about 230 thousandths of an inch. So here we go. So we sanded it for a while with a belt sander. Actually, it only took about a minute, but that one's a little low. I must have messed with it. I think I dropped this too many times and now it doesn't work right. We took quite a bit out of it. Oop, maybe it's not perfectly flat. We're gonna start. Sanded it for a while, got it down pretty good. Seems pretty flat. Got it about 215 thousandths, which is about where we want it. Well, this tool's not perfect, but oh, there you are. See, this thing kind of sucks, Chinesium. But anyways, got to sand it down, and we're gonna test it out and see if we move the ring gear enough. Got the ring gear bolted in. It's really hard to see the pattern because I don't have the right pattern grease, the yellow grease. It's purple grease that I'm using, but it does have a pretty good pattern. If you know how to read gear patterns, it looks pretty dang good. And we got the so the backlash is set right. It's actually, we got the backlash a little tight. I know you're not going to be able to see this in the video, and I don't want to set up the dial indicator, but we got it about 5 thousandths of an inch of backlash. We got the preload on the carrier bearings tight. We got the pinion bearing preload set. We just need to disassemble, install seals, and then we're going to fill it with fluid and test drive. Okay. Oh, you can't see shit on the screen. Oh, man. Well, here we go. We're going to do a launch. Oh, my God. This thing launches so hard. Holy shit. Oh, my God. This thing is fast. Jesus. All right. Rev it up. Let's do a little run. Okay. Fucking let go. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, this thing is friggin' rocking. Let's slow down there. Yep. Just got back from the test drive. The factory Chevy truck locker worked great in the rear end with 373 gears. Definitely lots of acceleration. Was able to do more than a one-wheel wonder. Both wheels were burning out. So now, hopefully for today, we're going to put some parts in and install the nitrous. Got the nitrous kit installed. Hopefully this is going to be what sends us into the 11s. There's where we're injecting the nitrous and the fuel. It's a wet kit. Got a wide open throttle switch on it. So you can see just as it comes to wide open throttle. Kind of a janky installation. I'd like to do something better, but this is what came in the installation kit. So till we get it dialed in, I'm going to leave it like that. There's the nitrous solenoids. Hopefully I'm able to hide it all under the home plate here, you know, on the mounts. And but got it all loomed up. I'll show you the interior. Here's the interior mount. Got them on the ignition switch that it comes on. There's a purge valve. There's the arming switch for the nitrous. There's a bottle heater. The bottle heater is pressure controlled, so we can leave it on about. It should shut off. I didn't get the window switch for the nitrous though, so I'm gonna have to be really careful when I go to arm it and not arm it too low of an RPM so I don't blow my shit up on the first go around. Anyways, I figure I will eventually fucking shoot a rod out the block, and I'll show you the bottle mount in the back. Here's the bottle mount in the back. You can see we have the blowdown tube that's required for the NHRA tracks. For it to be vented to the outside of the vehicle. Got the wiring for the pressure control switch for the heater for the nitrous, so we can get the pressures right. It should be able to adjust it so up to whatever pressure we want. I think it's set at 900 right now. But also you can see we tried to lighten up the interior of the car as much as possible. Took both the seats out of the back. The only thing left is the front. It's pretty disgusting. We took all the door panels off. The headliner's all out. We actually lost almost 350 pounds by taking the interior out. So I'm really impressed with that. So that's the build. Basically, not going to do too much more. So if you want to see how it does at the track, subscribe, and hopefully we get another run in here in about a week.